within all the databases in the whole system, your white label, everything like that, we added now this select database columns. So if you remember, every time you bought a list, you would have to manually go off and select the columns. You no longer have to do that. You can preset it for that particular database right here. So a lot of you guys just want to get the phone number, city, age, first name, state. You don't care about some of this other info. And now you can pre-save it. And especially with the custom databases, with a lot of these. So it makes your life quite a bit easier, makes mine easier. We added a lot more databases. I'll just go touch on those quickly, and then you guys can get a full list when you go over to the marketplace. So we added quite a few things for March. We started adding the weight loss intent for what people are looking for. We started adding in some more business lending, commercial real estate, and I actually added these over yesterday. Different people looking for different baseball schedules for no particular reason, but if someone's looking at Los Angeles, the Angels, good chance they're local and they maybe be a tourist traveling or something. There's people have asked me for these things before, so it's just nice to have. And Hakeem, you asked me to do private jet, luxury transportation. So this is a database of CEOs looking for luxury travel. Roofing's very popular, so we update this almost every day with a new one. So you'll see a lot of roofing in here. And doorbell camera, that's been a new recent one from the home security industry. And I even put the Florida Panthers. So all of this stuff is purchasable to use within your personal Avocadata. When you make your account, everyone should immediately make the $0 account. Not because I don't want to make money, but this lets you at least see everything. And we put a credit card in because we want the ability to ban people. And we have had to need to do that because people want to scrape inside the system. So unless you have an infinite amount of credit cards, this is our fail safe to keep people out. So once you do the $0 plan, you'll be presented with these traditional databases. I call them traditional because I've been building these and updating these for 5 years. I put together all the public records and the sources. Homeowners is a database of people's tax assessment records, and what's on the tax assessment record? Someone's first and last name. So we would go off and skip trace it to these folks. And, it shows they're 10 years old. Sometimes the clerk makes a mistake. So I'll filter to 25, and then you end up removing all those weird sections. You see another thing right here for solar leads. These are actually form submission. These are the only things that are leads in this database. And a lead, what I consider, is someone that raised their hand and say, I want to pay you. I want you to call me. These are fantastic. A lot of the people, my longest clients, only used homeowner data, and they had good metrics. Once they started using the solar leads, their metrics increased 2 times over in terms of pickup rate, appointment rate. We're not adding more to this unless there's an age lead provider that signs up and wants to build his own database to sell to you guys. So this is probably going to be good for a limited time continuing. And within the custom databases are all those different intent ones. So an intent database is people that were either Googling, going to websites, visiting apps that sell certain things. So this is a database of people that go to vape websites to buy vape products. And there's 305,000 people that did it in the last 7 days. And these people, we know they looked for that particular service because this unique identifier called the Shade 256, this is you. This figures out every device you use, every email you use, every browser you use. And it's not even a cookie. They call it a fingerprint. So it tracks you everywhere. So we know this cookie goes to Mackenzie. We don't know much more about Mackenzie. This is limited info on her. So actually, no, we see she's a teacher. She's probably a college in university, academic coordinator. So she's probably a guidance counselor at a college. And why does that matter? It doesn't. Yeah, what do you know? Virginia University. So this woman who works at Virginia University likes to vape, apparently. Now, maybe she doesn't vape. Maybe her son does. Maybe her husband does. I don't know. But what I know is that person went to a website that sells vape products. Same thing with home sellers. Do they want to sell their home? No clue. Do they even own a home? Well, If you go flip this nice little drop down for homeowner, now they own a home. Is that perfect? No, but it's a good barometer of what you're looking for. So continuing on, you have all these other fields you can search by: state, city, zip code, age range. So maybe I want to do 45. Now I have 78,000 that are 45 to 55. Do they have children? Maybe I want to find people who don't have children, because if they're 45 with no children, maybe they want to sell their home and downsize. And see what else could be useful with that. Want to make sure everyone has a personal email. And I also want to make sure that everyone has a trace cell phone. Actually, I'm going to flip it to CEO. That might be better. So when I do that, I have 1,109 records that are 45 to 55. And the reason why I say to 55, because I know the age range is like this. They don't have children. They're a homeowner. We can say their net worth, income. They have a personal email, and they also are a CEO or an owner of a company. And then the final thing I want to switch is Skip Trace Wireless. This is a cell phone that we verified a second time. Every record has a mobile phone for the most part. And the skip trace is us verifying, like a double verification of how confident we are this number is accurate. So about 30% have skip trace wireless as an option. The mobile phones aren't bad. It's just in terms of a barometer. Skip trace wireless have higher connectivity than the mobile. So once I find the list that I want, I'm going to go pre-select the columns. So now I don't have to worry about every time doing this. So I'll put the exact age if it's there, the skip trace name, first name. I'll do the skip trace address, seniority level. I normally skip anything professional because I just never found it useful. But I also want their job title, their LinkedIn. I want to know what type of industry they work in. I'll look for their company revenue because these are all CEOs, so that might be important. We'll look at how many employees they have. We'll take a look at the company name. Don't care about the address. I'm going to do marketing on Google, so I want to get the Shade 256. And I also do email, so I want the personal email. I do not take business email ever. Business email I've never had good success with, and I know how to. This is the first time I might say this, but I know how to do email. Whenever I do business emails, deliverability goes down. But when I do just personal emails, my deliverability is almost 100%. So sorry, you didn't see this right here. So this is me just using personal emails, and this is me over 3 months factoring in some business emails. And my deliverability goes down about 5%. And I mean, consistently, we can go up and look at, that's not it. Last days.
Sounded like there might be a question. Somebody got a question?
Yeah, any questions? Well, this is me using personal email from our own data. And yeah, I get 100%. I get 100% delivery. Now, I follow a rigorous protocol to make sure it works, which I'm actually going to go over after we finish going through the software. So back over to here, I'm going to go select net worth, married, homeowner, gender, and
When we say use the personal email, would that also be the case if you're actually calling about a business? Like if I'm trying to sell something to a business?
yes, because there's something called Cloudflare, which almost every business email is on because it's free. Maybe not yours, but a lot of anything that has over 5 or 10 employees that's in an office building usually. And they just block all your emails. That's the issue. There's one company that its entire purpose is to block fraud or spam. That's the whole purpose. So they don't do personal emails. Gmail manages that. So even if it's business, I still reach out to personal at the end of the day. Some people don't like it, but not everyone is going to like everything.
That's true.
Business SHA-256 can be helpful in targeting employees of a company or stuff like that too. So sometimes it's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, and in terms of email, I'm going to share this, but I wrote this for the first time, and everyone just says, hey, let's pay people to do this for you, but that's not possible. You have to figure out a way to do it that works. So I continuously use YouTube, as most of you know. I use a combination of 3 things: YouTube, Go High Level, and ChatGPT to do all of my emailing top down. So the very first thing I do is I make a funnel in Go High Level, and it's not complicated. It's not fancy. It's not supposed to be anything overwhelming. I just have an email and I wait. I email, then I wait. I email, then I wait. I send 2 emails a day and you guys get a boatload of them. And the reason why is because the people who keep opening emails, let's go all the way to the bottom. This one for 2 months. If you're still opening my emails after a year, Google looks at you as, oh, this guy sends stuff people want to read. The same person wouldn't have opened it for 2 years. Some of you were in here for 2 years. And you see 14%, 18%, and the clicks keep going up. And I have a feeling Google actually looks at the cookies of the email user. But this is step one. Put all this together. And all the emails that I do, I pull from videos that I make. And the videos can be, they can just be you having a podcast or just a conversation with a friend about how the business works. Doesn't matter. But then once you do that, now you have a whole week's worth of, even a month's worth of emails you can write, because the hardest part was done. You figured out what it should say. And I personally use YouTube because YouTube will transcribe everything instantly. And I'll tell YouTube with this description right here and the editor right here, and I will go tell ChatGPT, and I use the O3 one, even though the O1 is really good.
Good guy.
So after this is all done, I'm going to go play back in my little email funnel, and I'm going to go to where the chain ends because I actually ran out of emails to send. So this is useful. So you see, I'm at the very, 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 very end. That's my last one. So while ChatGPT is doing its magic, I'm going to go off and start preparing the email template that I'm going to use for that ChatGPT response. So Go High Level has this little button right here. That's the code of the email. So what I do is I take, the ChatGPT response and I plug it directly in to here. Doesn't fit at all, but that's not the point. The point is I now have, oops, can't do that right. Now I can go take this random code that was pretty and is not pretty now to do this email code. So it is formatted and clean and professional. Use voice like Grant Cardone. And then I just use a tone of voice. Like I that's how you keep the emails relevant. That's how you take one email and you write 10 emails from it. You tell it to change the tone. You tell it to make it like a press release. And you don't send those emails back to back to back to back. What I do is I might write 2 or 3 emails from one email and I'll stick it down here to use for later because it's good. Like I have Shay 256 right here. There's 2 other emails in this entire funnel for 2 months that have a Shay 256 lesson on it. So now if I'm like scrambling for time and I don't have time to write an email and I'm at the very end of the sequence, I know these are pre-done, already done, and I can just throw them in. So now that ChatGPT has finished, let's go back to this email. And now it just reformatted the email real nice, although it shouldn't have done it. I accidentally did it with 2 of them. Now a very basic email. And it's not trying to sell anybody. I don't try to sell in any of my emails. That's the biggest mistake people make. The biggest thing is people ask, what's your reply rate? What's this? What's that? And I've never gotten a sale for the most part. Some people reply to emails and I get sales, but the most frequent sales we get are from appointments. And I see there's a hand up, but this is just the last piece I want to tackle. I never did trust anyone giving me advice because I was an immature male 20-something-year-old. And this was my calendar in December. I started doing the emailing the second week of January. And then I kept doing it. And this is what my calendar turned into, where now we had to hire people to help us do sales because, this is what I do, right? I'm not selling you an email course. This is all free info, but
Yeah, I was about to say, this has been a masterclass on how to save money, but stop paying other people to do, frankly, a function that you should at the very least know and understand how it operates to better understand what you're paying for if you do pay somebody to do this as a service for you.
Do you have any automation set up that if there's no activity from one of your contacts that you will take them off the list? Let's just say they don't open an email for 5 times. Are you having anything in place that protects you? So you just say, okay, that's a do not disturb. Don't keep sending it because that will actually hurt my my email health? Anything like that?
So no, I don't do that. And what I've noticed is the open rate goes up. So I haven't noticed any change with that, right? I don't do that at all. And I think there might be something like if people aren't opening them, like one person doesn't open it maybe for 2 weeks and then they start opening it 3 weeks later consistently, Google would recognize that too, possibly as a positive thing. And I'm not sure with all the AI in the background now what they actually have going on, but that's just my hypothesis.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. I don't see any other questions yet, but man, that was yeah.
So I'll jump over to this. Pre-save columns I showed you, and Mike, I think your thing is fully running, so I have to get your go high level up. So
Well, first off, real quick, business email, the sub accounts that are signing up underneath me are asking me about the email. Will you be opening up for Gmail emails? And why is that the case?
So the real reason is if you try to get out a bad actor, then you need to make it difficult. You need to make it basically. So I'm more so thinking about the people who do scams as a business.
Got it.
Who will
Okay.
run 10 credit cards that they paid for one to go through and then download everything, but they have to buy a business email. So now that you know what I'm saying, like if they want to
One
keep
more filter.
one more
Okay, no
filter, yeah.
worries.
We're gonna
All
add
right,
a switch where you can remove that second OTP though by your own choice, but just know you will have people find your merchant process and be like, oh wow, let me make a bot to run 100 credit cards to test them just to see if they work. That they do it just to test them, not even to charge them.
Got it. Yep. That's a great filtering process. Another question. Is there a way to put an explanation for what the lists are? For example, roofing February 2025. Rather than my sub accounts asking me 100 questions, is there any way to put an explanation of what that list includes? Or, hey, this is a list for people who are looking for a roofing replacement in the past 7 days. Like, is there any way to put an explanation?
So
Hey,
it
Brian,
is an
isn't
explanation actually. I guess we just have to have them publish this. I have been writing this out for everyone.
well, hold on. Now, isn't this kind of addressed with Dashboard 3 and the new marketplace when that comes out? Because all of the products then, databases then have a description. We have to publish the description, obviously, but
So yeah, so this
okay.
unlock button very shortly is going to bring you right into here, and there are pre-done explanations, but I've noticed.
But can a white label make their own is, I guess, what I'm asking in this similar format? Like, can I make my products look like this a little bit?
Yeah, we're going to end up. This is going to be part of the white label. So
Cool.
this is the longer term and the long term solution that's going to be deployed in the next couple of days. Now, what I wanted to add to that is what you said, Akeem, but we should let the white label re-describe this because there are some people that sell this as leads, people that want to buy activewear. There's a million and one ways this can be written. So we can let you guys rewrite the description within your own white label as well.
Be amazing. Perfect. Another question is my sub accounts, when they download information and they go to purchase lists, I believe there's a short amount of time where it says pending. What is that? How long is that depending on the person, the user activity? Does somebody approve it? What is that?
So you remember combinations and permutations in math? That's exactly what it is, right? So when I see somebody do a filter and it's the same people doing it over, not the same people, but users continuously are doing it. Maybe CXO, and maybe they fill in real estate. Like let's go to business professionals. Actually, this will be a good example. And this is the core thing that we're charging for because this is the thing we have to balance, and that's why I say we sell you a container because it makes it easy to balance. But here's a database of 36 million. That's a lot. There's a lot in this one. So if I do specific filters, right, and not like yes or no, these are only 4 options, right? So this is when in terms of the combinations, they're limited. But if I was to go down to description and I put in medic weight loss doctor or something, it's going to take a hot minute to find because it might take 30 seconds. Let's see.
I guess I just need an answer for these people. Do I just say it depends on the
It depends on how heavy the load is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors. Like it could be the time of day, like something like that. That load, for instance, is a big one. But if you're doing the regular, like what's a database they use as an example?
So an example is roofing February 2025, Austin, Texas, or Houston, Texas. We're getting like 256 leads. And so when I skip trace wireless and I skip trace personal, let's just give an example, 256, I thought that would be right away, because when I use my agency account, it's immediate. And then my sub accounts are saying, oh, there's a pending. And I'm like, oh, it'll work. And it does. It just takes a few minutes, I think. So I just need an answer for them.
So you're saying, so when you do it here, it's fast, but when you do it in your
Yep.
sub
When you go to
account-
purchase lists.
Let's do it. Let's take a look at this real quick. I don't have credits there. That's not going to help me.
Yeah. When you do purchase lists, it'll be like, oh, how do I email myself or go high level? It will say pending. And I've noticed it could be 10 minutes for and I have a fake sub account to test it myself.
What's your white label again?
It is lead marketing data.
1 second.
And thanks for allowing me to ask these questions. And then the
No,
credits,
that's questions. That's the whole thing.
because I got, I think 10 people signed up. I'm going to have 10 more probably in the next 2 days. So I'm getting tons of questions on this. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want,
This is what we're here for, man, is figuring out how we better support you guys, better inform you guys, better empower you guys. Some of it is a little bit growing pains as we're, as we've, rather than taking on VCs and letting this thing get hijacked and bastardized, we've really just bootstrapped and done it all in-house. And so some of it is a little bit of growing pains, but for the most part, I think all of this can be resolved. And I love that we discuss these things in this room. That's what it's here for.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
I'm,
they love it. Just so you know, there's a few people who are absolutely in love right now with it. So,
yeah, and right
and
now,
it's not a major issue. So even if you don't want to focus on it right now, it's
oh, well, I'm going to use
Yeah,
it
we
as
can-
an opportunity. So this is the back end of Mike's white label, and I am a customer, and these are various customers. So my customer account is Brian, I think. I would hope I named it Brian right there.
Yeah.
So when you have a user subscribe, you can charge them through here. You can manually assign them a database. So these are the databases that Mike has purchased on Avocadata, and now he can reassign, sell these to other accounts. And the other thing you can do on this side is you can select the plan you want them on. And a new feature we just added too is you can change their list limit download. So if you don't want them to download more than a certain amount, like how we give you a list limit of 5,000, you now can control other users' list limits. And it's just more of a upcharge that you can figure out. So I am in.
Did you just grant people credits without charging them? Is that what you just did?
No, I changed the list limit.
Oh,
I made,
okay.
you see, so like, like you.
Yeah.
there
No,
will
putting
be-
putting yourself on a plan.
Yeah, so this is an override. This is the way you don't have to charge them, right? If you don't want to charge them money, and that's because people had issues with their Stripe and they were taking the payment through Zelle or something. I wanted to give the users the ability to add it.
Well, you just brought up a good point. Like I want to keep testing my sub account. So is there a way that I could just keep adding credits to myself? So like, look at my at the bottom there, Mike I started from 0. That's my test account. I have 25 left. Could I just add, I didn't even play with this, but could I just add 300 to myself right now without charging?
Let's see if we just discovered. Hey, we just discovered
you
magic.
can. You can. Very nice. That's awesome. I didn't know.
That's why we do these. So I want to get back to the main issue you were talking about first, and then we'll get right to Lloyd. This was a good question. So
Yeah.
I wanted to get.
Yeah, I'm
people
done. Thank you,
out.
Lloyd. Sorry.
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
Lloyd, Rodney, we got you in the queue. You guys are next. Who's just going to button this up? Yeah.
Success.
Yeah. So see, whenever I've been doing that, it says pending for minutes.
When was the last time you did it? Like, I know over the last 3 days we were doubling the storage, so that's why it was going
Yesterday
slow.
morning was the last
So-
time I did.
So I'll give everybody just a fair warning. So there's been over the last couple of days and maybe over the next few days, there might be a little bit of sort of bugginess or something that you notice. Give us a heads up if you experience any of that. We'll do our best to mitigate it. And hopefully you won't experience any of it. But we are basically preparing to roll to dashboard 3, which is going to make this entire ecosystem, as we've shown you before in this dashboard 3, a lot easier to navigate, use, and communicate. And it's grown based off of all the feedback we've gotten in these rooms. So, if there is some weird bugginess, a lot of times it's just because we're kind of preparing to do that. And, we're again, like I said, we're not a super VC backed company. We're bootstrapped. We invest everything you guys entrust us with right back in this platform in the ecosystem, and that's how we're able to make it better and better and better. And sometimes that means stretching resources tight while we're preparing and working out bugs and new deployments, and we're still running the old system.
Yeah, and these are all the databases created. If you don't see one here, like online gambling, someone had me do one for people who log into the American Express portal to pay. And one last thing I want to show, 'cause I don't think you know about this, Mike. Any database you can make a custom database from. So under Marketplace Custom Lists, you can select the database. So we'll go and select the February one. And there's a March one I'll have to update. And I'll just type in Austin, Texas. So now you can use the personal state right here, Texas, city, Austin, hit count, create lists. And now when you go back to your system, when we go to roofing, Austin's already there.
Wow.
And your
That's
user
amazing.
Yeah, and your user can filter on this side. So let's say we only did Austin, Texas, but they want a cell phone. They can now further filter this list down. So you can pre-build it, and very shortly, you'll be able to assign these to the specific people and turn off the filter option for the whole database. You know what I mean? You can give them access just to a particular section very soon.
It's amazing. Excellent. Thank you, Brian.
I was curious also because I've got some databases. I've got like huge ones for realtors, and I wasn't sure if there's a way to enrich the data that I already have. Is there a cost to that? How does it work? Or you know what I mean? Or just years? Or I don't know.
So I'm glad I brought this first part up, Hakeem. So you might be
this is what we're here for.
We might be able to make you the first client of this. So I, for a very long time, did all the skip tracing myself, not like with other companies. I literally built all the tools and backend, all that.
Yeah.
I got tired of doing that. But we're partnering with a company now where you can enrich. You would have to just make sure you have a first name, last name, and city, state. And that will get you the phone number. So you can build your own database like this, and you would upload it. And then once it was uploaded, we would add an app to you that would let you enrich it. This is new to us, not the enrichment part, the monetization part, because we have
and the integration
at first, and just figuring out that flow. But
I would say set up your white label, and then I would say let's do like next week. Let's get on the calendar and have a one-on-one and kind of talk about how we can do that and help you with that. Also,
beautiful.
I mean, then once you have it enriched, you can be a data provider, as I'm sure if you find that data useful, so will other people if they want to purchase it from you.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so that's great. And then I'm guessing that like if I'm planning on doing this in multiple niches, I should have like a domain for each niche, basically.
you don't need to, but if that's something you are able to handle, yes.
Okay, so I could do
Right.
kind of like a master one and then like a subdomain that's targeted for that niche or something.
Yeah. What's interesting now is this is really interesting because it really just depends on how you want to, what industries or categories or subsections you're running in, and then how you need to package that up to make it a viable product in each of those lanes.
Yeah.
Broadly speaking, as a consulting and marketing and brand building agency, my company is on like $2,500 a month plan where we get 10 intent categories. And it's great because it reduces our cost per category in half of what the traditional standard one is. And it broadens our total addressable market. It broadens our potential customer base. And because we're not locked in to these intent categories every month, if my team goes off and closes, I don't know, we just closed a client that's a pest control client. And so we're spinning up pest control categories. We're working now with a client who's in a nonprofit space. They're looking for a very limited subset of people. But the reality is as an agency, I know if I can find his target audience, I can sell that as a service to a bunch of other nonprofits because they also need that. So like, it's wild how this is kind of like a Rubik's Cube of like how many
Good
how many of
analogy.
these sides can you solve, and then make yourself a rainbow.
Yeah, and you piggyback off your wins pretty much. So yeah, that's great. The do not call, is there some type of like syncing with the do not call list, national, international, whatever? Do you know?
No,
I know
and
there's that feature inside Go High Level, but it costs you for every single lead. So I'm not sure if that's something that people are doing or do not doing or whatever.
so my 2 cents about that, if this was last year, you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
They fired the FCC, so I wouldn't.
I mean, I was just about to say, I'm not sure who's even oversight or enforcing,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure that there's actually a policy in place on this right now
Mhm.
because they've repealed previous policy. So, I mean,
Yeah. Ask for forgiveness rather than
just be
permission.
careful.
Yeah, risk assessment, but I would say the risk has gone down tenfold, even possibly more,
Yeah.
more. Maybe in 2 years that'll change, but at least for the next 2 years, it's open season, I think.
Okay, and the other thing is, are all the databases all like recent intent data, or is it separate? You know what I mean? So
So
is it all
we'll use Mike as an example. So Mike subscribed last month for the first time, and you see every one of these databases within Mike.
Wait, can I offer a short answer? We offer intent data and static data. So we have a homeowner database that we're constantly enriching and making better.
That
We have
makes sense.
business professionals that we're constantly enriching and making better and adding to as a static database, as a static set of data or a static database. And then there are intent categories, which we can pull live active intent from the last 7 to 9 day snapshot and
Mhm.
provide all of that data to you as well. So that's kind of the short answer to that question.
And the intent data, it's typically weekly or monthly or both.
Prior 7 days. So
Okay.
we will update it as you need us to throughout
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
month.
Okay. So the standard package is we update it monthly. If you need it updated weekly, just hit us up and we will work that out with you.
And the last question I had, do you have BizOp or MLM? There's some people that are like, really hungry for those types of leads, I guess.
Yes, that is there. I haven't updated in a while, so if you subscribe, I'd re-update it.
Yeah.
But people are looking to start an MLM business.
Interesting. Yeah, so those are kind of like pre-bundled, like search keywords, I guess, that you group into database.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Perfect.
And then that's where the other databases come in, because do you want to group it? Like the whole category for start a business MLM is 492,000 within that 7-day period.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything more. So if you want to end up splitting it into 3 categories, now you're paying for 3 databases, which people do.
Mhm.
It's just, where's the cost benefit and where can you get the greatest gain?
Yeah, because I'm sure there's like subcategories you could do, like people that are seeking the crypto ones, for example. You can have like all these, but I guess I could help with building those, based on the keyword, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of crypto ones. So crypto, there's wallet, there's NFT. People who use Coinbase, like that's an example. There's crypto wallet.
History in that space.
Yeah, so there's like cross section. It's basically like you're crossing several databases together and kind of finding the overlap.
Exactly. Well, Well, this one specifically is people who went to the Coinbase login, right?
Okay.
And then there's obviously a crypto one, and I don't update this as often because someone who was using this started paying us to change the search just to Coinbase.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Coinbase is big enough where there's over 500,000 a week versus if you do, tile replacement in Lubbock.
That's interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And that could be globally, I guess. It's not just U.S.
This is just nationally. This is just these people are just in America.
Okay.
Obviously, there's more globally, but
yeah.
However, highly effective to take the SHA-256 and build out lookalike audiences and apply those in any territory you're interested in marketing.
Yeah, because I've got a good friend in Dubai, and I think that there could be a lot of business to be had there. I'm just not sure what type of data is available in that part of the world,
Yeah, then now you're thinking way outside the box. Like I said, I got tired of doing the data because I didn't have what 95% of people wanted. And, and you don't do stuff you've never done before and tell people you can do it. I've never had maybe 40% worked out that way.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal of this system was for exactly what you just said. If there's a person in a different part of the world with amazing data that isn't here, there's a need for it. It's like art. It's a Lego. You just keep contributing and figuring out more ways to monetize it, because the last step, which we're just about there, is letting users enrich their data to your data. So
can these be created like to build audiences for like Facebook for retargeting or marketing or whatever?
oh yeah, I mean, I use it. I personally don't use Facebook just because of my own bias.
Yeah.
But I use Google all the time.
Yep. Yeah. Google, TikTok, Facebook, or Meta, whatever. The key is the less data you have to ingest to those systems, the faster they can approve it as an audience. So, right, first name, last name, I guess email, SHA-256. I think that's it. It's pretty much what I include when I do custom audiences, and it works pretty well.
Yeah, I prefer Google because it's more scalable, but I'm not sure if you need their requirements before you can upload an audience to target, you know?
Facebook is a little bit more complicated. But like, for instance, these are my Google ones. These are the only 2 audiences that use data I uploaded, and I don't retarget them. I do a lookalike.
Yeah.
This lookalike is only in India, and I'm actually going to increase the budget, because not that I think I'm going to close Indians, although quite a few of them do pay. They have a higher budget than most. But what this is going to do is it's going to quickly increase the amount of people who put a card in, and you need 1,000 of those people, 1,000 unique ones, to be able to then create a lookalike off of the conversion. So I then take all the Indian conversions and I make a lookalike in America.
Interesting.
And it's getting my conversions to 481 to make an account or to purchase, to sign up $1.
I've never heard anyone try that method. That's pretty cool.